Cooked. Cooked. Fire. Classic. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Oh, actually, I need to get some batteries for my preamp. I guess if we're sharing random thoughts, I'm feeling sleep deprived, and I'm feeling silky psychedelic chords. Like, look at that. That's so magical. I'm feeling pretty good. Yes. Hecka sleep deprived. Was a nice, beautiful, full day of lover day activities. Yeah, I just got some of the best tacos I've ever had in my life, and then went to a silky drum and bass show. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yeah. I am creeped out. Do you know why? Not particularly. It seems like a not a YouTube land sort of what's the word? Dialogue. But that sucks. I mean, that's most unfortunate. Doesn't seem like a yeah. Heck yeah. Yes, though, I must say, actually, my batteries are very low on my guitar amp, so I need to go grab 3 batteries. One moment. Yes, yes, yes. All right. This is how you change batteries. Yeah. Yeah, but I must say, it's been fruitful so far. I just spend lots of the morning just kind of relaxing, spending time with my lady, and then, yeah, did a cold plunge, did a run. Very successful run, I must say. It's a very nice cold plunge and short sprints. All right, we can report happily our guitar is back in action. Yes. Give it lots of credit, lots. Let's pop into Ableton and kind of update this here. I see. Gotta sort of flip on the computer. Yes, yes. Huh. There we are, there we are. Flip this baby on. Do some of these. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys too had a chill fruitful love day as of yesterday. It was very, very interesting being downtown. Like, I'm usually not downtown, just for like in Vancouver and whatnot. A fellow stoner. I mean, you're sort of right. You're kind of partway there. I'm just sleep deprived, so that's probably I'm like seeming like a stoner, but nah. I haven't smoked weed for like 11 years. I used to smoke weed a lot. Yeah. And I was dead convinced I'd smoke weed forever. But then I just made the executive decision not to. Whoa, I think we're a little bit out of tune here. Yeah, but I embraced the stoner existence when it was great. It's a good way of being. Whoa, that's not where we want to be here. A note here. You ever meet Sasha Gray's Bush? I have no idea what that means, dog. If you're asking if I've seen some sort of graphic nature of some random human being that I've never met in my life, I gotta say no, bro. This is a music channel, bruv. This is a music channel. We're here to play guitar and teach people guitar. Damn. One moment, just gonna hook up my audio interface here. Make the silky sounds. There we are. Beautiful, beautiful. This is what I like to see. Bit of Predley, absolutely. This is also what I like to see. Some DI all day long. DK, of course, of course. Let's equalize that. Very nice. It's great though. For some odd reason, my sleep-deprived brain has been just like, really hyped on a few very particular chords. She's an actress, was in the Eminem video. Weirdly enough, I actually do think I know what you're talking about. Like, I think I remember some meme circulating about, some actress that was in an Eminem video. Well, yeah, not familiar, my guy. Not familiar. Let's see. Let's take off this here. Tonight, your sound seems on fire. Sick, I mean, maybe so. Honestly, this is the first time I picked up my guitar all day, so I don't know, it's feeling prime. Right before actually I picked up this phone and did the stream, I actually wrote it like a song, I would say. Not like a full-fledged song, but I was playing around with this chord, which I've never played around. I don't even know what that is. And this kind of weird major 7 chord, and then I went into this those 4 chords, and I wrote a like psychedelic rock song. It's like almost similar to like Oasis. I don't know, it just came out, and I was like, whoa, that was cool. It actually felt really good. Like, it wasn't even like a song that I tried to write. It just felt really good. Like, I was just vibing. Yeah. We'll see how that manifests. I don't know. It's like my sleep-deprived self was just like, hey, let's just play some silky Oasis type grooves, and yeah. I think a lot of it too was kind of just taking the natural, the bliss and sort of energy and all the dopamine, I'd say, from yesterday and just kind of flowing through. Reminds me of Nevada deserts. That's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know, these chords, this is where we are. Oh, it's this chord right here. Particularly with this 5th. And then go into here in the 2nd transition. I don't know, this is just where my brain, and of course this beautiful chord. Very nice, silky as ever. Thank you, brother, or sister, Miss Sand Beach. Puddle of Mud meets ABBA. Bro, I have no idea what that means. But thank you, sir. I'm just mud. Nature, Mother Nature's slop. I feel like I could master that sound just a little bit. Oh, there we are. That's what happened as I moved my AMF. Yes, AMF. Yes, yes. Natural. Interesting. And I must say, kind of just openly commenting on my content, I've been pretty satisfied with, for some reason, my one slap harmonic short just kind of decided to go in a direction where it's going north of 2,500, and then my long format content, which this is kind of surprised me. You know, I released a video the other day, 3 days ago, I guess, or 4 days ago now, basically about like why you aren't practicing guitar and etc. etc. I'm basically just talking about dopamine mechanics. Like I go off on a tangent where I'm just like going off about delayed gratification, instant gratification, and making a connection of why that makes one a better guitarist if you focus delayed. About what? Whoa, don't want to copyright myself. But yeah, I'm just pretty stoked because it actually, for whatever reason, it's gotten views. Like the algorithm has actually sent it. Because for me, long format YouTube is one of those things that's like a slow build. It's like I often have not cracked the code on long format YouTube, but I'm kind of happy to see. I'm like, whoa, long format YouTube is actually seeming to materialize. Well, that's not the right key. That's right. Very nice. Interesting. The earth gives us respect. Yeah, brother. It's kind of funny. This is actually what I spoke of in my cold plunge as I was plunging. is Interestingly enough, you know, I think I spoke about this openly in my other stream, where I have this new streak, this new goal, where, you know, I've been doing cold plunges. I said on my one thing on my short, I've been doing cold plunges every day for 33 days, cold plunges and sprints. And basically, I ended that streak actually 2 days ago. And I decided I'm going to do a new streak where I'm doing a cold plunge every day. You know, I'll do a sprint to a cold plunge, go home, do meditation, then do Qigong, and do lucid dream study, and breath work. Yeah, combine all, basically, instead of doing the cold plunge and sprint, I up the ante by doing now about 6 practices. And yeah, just like every single day, I'm going to see what happens. And I'll be honest, full disclosure, part of what I'm doing with these, I'm not doing these for fun. I love all these practices, and I've been integrating for years, but I'm kind of doing it as a challenge to myself that I'm then going to record as content. You know, I'm going to be like, all right, this is what happens when you do breath work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, with cold plunge, with this, that, and I'll comment about it and sort of like talk about how that's going to positively impact the health. But yeah, that's been cool. But basically, what I was talking about is what I noticed on what for me has allowed me to succeed with these practices, strangely enough, is actually my immersion in the elements. So, very simply, you know, when I say go for a cold plunge, basically what I do is I sprint to the river, I do a cold plunge, sprint back, and for some reason that immediate, you know, adrenal activation, it makes it way easier to do meditation. So I immediately go home, I do 5 minutes of meditation, and then I go and step outside, usually when it's raining, and then I do Qigong, you know, for upwards of 5-10 minutes. And what I've noticed is there's a direct relationship with connecting with the elements. You know, that is maybe just the elements of the cold, or, you know, being in the nature, in the rivers, that for whatever reason just makes doing meditative practice easier. So that's what I'm going with, is basically connecting the dots between creating these like elemental immersions and how the role they play in meditative practice. This is directly what I'm finding. So that's super dope. Yeah. This gives us respect. Facts, my friend, facts. desert with snake. A Native American. It's a strange cause my guide spirit is a Native American. That's really cool. That is very interesting. Your guide is a Native American. That's really beautiful. You're blessed, my friend. I mean, the fact that you have a native, like, energy. Like, I feel like I have a lot of ancient. I connect a lot with, like, ancient Japanese sort of cultures. A lot of, like, ancient Japanese concepts. For some reason, that's always. And also ancient. I like Romanian, ancient Scandinavian sort of energies. Heck, you do like snakes. Snakes are tight, yeah. I think all people, unless, I don't know, people have like fears of snakes. Snakes are just, whoa, something weird going on with my action on this one string. Okay, no, that's good, it's good. Let's do some weird chords. This is what we're here for today. Weird, weird chords. Ooh. Unorthodox. Beautiful, beautiful. Ring the bell. Interesting. I got you, Dot. Music from images, and I hope on your same connection with the earth, and sometimes flashes of the past. Huh. That's really cool, brother. And honestly, I enjoy the way your mind seems to work, in the interactions that we had. It seems like yeah, interesting. That's actually a key shift. That was a key shift. Thank you. Interesting, interesting. I'm glad you're appreciating my sleep deprived, dopamine filled chord progressions. Now let's go to some weird. Don't be afraid. Seek it out. Sweet. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Yo, what's good? It's been a minute. Hey, that's cool, brother. That's cool. Welcome. What's that? I'm glad to stumble upon you. Stream again. things have been pretty dope, I must say. Yeah, yesterday we hit 1,000 subscribers, so pretty dope benchmark. I'm pretty happy on that. Content has been like steadily growing, getting more bold, getting more ambitious. Yeah, lots of love in my life. You know, doing some good meditative streaks. Yeah, lots of dancing. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah, feeling insanely ambitious. When I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, I've been having these visions, like these long-term visions, basically. I've been like, what can I see in 3 months? What I can achieve via YouTube, via like various dimensions of my life, and that's been really cool. Like that's what I really deeply enjoy. It's like having these like very clear visions of like, okay, in 3 months, in 6 months, what extraordinary things can unravel. I feel really good about that. So yeah, that's been what's on my mind. Hell yeah, key shifts all day long. Cool stuff. Not on Spotify yet. Nope. Nope, nope. That being said, we have a couple songs that I think the key. See, the thing is Spotify. I see Spotify, it's a music platform that's very refined. So I'm basically going to probably send a lot of the tracks that I've released, like the last few, like 3 or 4 tracks that I've created. And I've also created about 4 songs that I gotta work on recording, like full-fledged, like what's the word, progressive rock style songs that would probably take me like weeks to perfect and record, but they're beautiful, beautiful songs I'm very proud of. So yeah, firstly, I'm gonna send some of my finished recordings that I've released on YouTube to my friend who does mastering and production, and I'm likely just gonna have him master the audio so it's literally perfect, like every little blip sounds just beautiful to the ears. So that's the next goal for if I were to go on Spotify, is I gotta have my friend really like master the audio. And then secondarily, yeah, if I can eventually finish these 4 songs that I've written recently, which is gonna take time, those I think are Spotify worthy. Yeah. Only joking. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean you're not far off base. I mean, it's a thing. I kind of like was jesting about this the other day or yesterday, where it's like I get kind of overwhelmed with the nature of like say perfectionism. Like the essence of it is like, for some people, they might, they might look at me and be like, all right, like where is your album, or where is XYZ like refined music, blah blah blah. It's like I'm in the process of like studio recording a lot of music, but it's basically like I'm a crippling perfectionist. Like I always have been, and like I think I've done an amazing job of integrating out of that. But yeah, it's basically like it's such a process to record music and like release music that personally is of standard to me, like is of a high standard that's like perfect quality, but it's getting there. I'll be honest. That's the thing, is the beauty of it, if I'm being very transparent, is since creating a YouTube channel, this last 6 months, and since having this YouTube community build or grow, and I'm being in this place where I've been like performing like every single day and writing music every single day, I 1000% have like my inspiration, my motivation has skyrocketed. And it's skyrocketed even further to write and record music. So that's, yeah. It's not why I made this channel, but that's kind of just what's happened. So I'm blessed. I feel grateful for that. Oh. Very nice. Give us hope. Wicked. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, nah, the homie Mr. Joe Mojo, I think he joined when we were like at 200 subscribers, like right before the big surge, the big momentum explosion. So it's interesting. I know there was a few regulars that were popping in that were like right before my channel exploded, so to speak. Exploded. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. I appreciate the support of those that have just been here from the beginning. Yeah. Gotta love it. Shay's a true musician. I love it, bro. Sick. Thank you, dog. It's yes, yeah, yeah. It's been a long path, brother. Like this is like, whether I'm creating music or dancing or, teaching or philosophizing, I feel like all these dimensions, um, they mirror each other. It's like I really desire to create something that's authentically aligned with myself. And with that, I really desire to inspire that within other people. So it's almost like, I'm kind of just, in some rights, I could say I'm like a conduit, right? I'm just like a channel. I'm here to just be like, how can I reflect the energy of the things around me most effectively? And I'll be honest, most cases it's very clear to me. Like I'm very good at like finding sort of the peak ways to channel my energy. But yeah, be it a stream, be it if it's music, be it if it's any sort of modality, I think it's going places. Thank you, brother. Yeah, 1,000. It's a beautiful benchmark. It's interesting. I'm really excited because part of why I've been really excited to get to 1,000 is for good reason. Once we hit this point where YouTube registers basically the ability to unlock my viewership. I don't know how exactly this works. I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen at all. But legitimately, 1,000 feels like it's just a really powerful benchmark, as you will. It's just like I can see the vision that goes further now that I'm at 1,000. I'm like, all right, we've officially reached 1,000. Which I'll be honest, like 5 6 months ago, I had zero, ability to predict or be certain of when this would occur. It's like I could have. It's almost like what I think is very interesting, and I've spoken this a lot with like my family actually when I just randomly talk about like my YouTube channel and where stuff been going. It's like, um, I have guesses, right? I have approximations where I'm like, yeah, maybe it would be cool if in 3 months or 6 months my channel would be here, or in 5 months this will be in here. And it's amazing to see that my predictions not only are accurate, but very like dead accurate. It's like it's interesting to see that if I'm like, okay, I envision in 5 months or in 6 months this channel will, blossom into this direction or hit this benchmark or you know evolve into this sort of new dimension of it. It's interesting that so far, every prediction that I've made has been dead accurate. So that's very cool because honestly, it just gives me greater confidence to create visions that are very ambitious and then to reach those. Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's the thing, Mr. Mojo, Mr. Joe Mojo. Is like, yeah, dog. It basically, I was even like mind blown with like hundreds of being like, wow, 100, 200. Like I was stoked to hit those numbers. But to see the rapid growth of being like, blow up to this point, it's like it gives me a really powerful level of like confidence and awareness in not only my own ability, but my just the ability to just like set a vision and then yeah, just execute. Yeah, good stuff. I'm so glad you're doing well. Thank you, brother. It's really. I mean, I speak of this openly with my posts and talks, but this is genuinely just the beginning. Like, it's kind of bizarre. It's like kind of how I operate. I have like so many interesting visions and intentions with which I desire to do this channel, and this is literally just the very beginning. Like 1,000 is a beautiful benchmark, but it's like where I see this channel in the next like 3 months, the next 6 months is like it's gonna go to very interesting places. Like I guarantee. I can say this with confidence because, I used to have this as like it was just a guess. Like it was a guess, it was an approximate, it was like a prediction that I wasn't certain was going to come true, 6 months ago, where I was like, okay, maybe I'll be at this point, maybe I'll have created this, I'll have recorded that. But the fact is, every single thing that I predicted, that's like, oh, maybe this will happen, it all came true. So, yeah, I'm just kind of like a record right now, spinning on repeat. But the reality is, yeah, I feel like it's beautiful when you recognize your capability, to execute a vision. And then once you recognize how truly capable and how much power you have in your reality, then it kind of fulfills that prophecy over and over again, to a point of you could set whatever vision you desire, and you have, certainty that you'll achieve that. So that's kind of where I've been at these last couple of days. I've been like setting these powerful visions, just having these like visions flow through. I'm like, wow, 6 months, I will be here, and X, Y, Z, and beyond, and it's super cool. It's a cool place. Doing random stuff, bruv. Proud to say I was here from the start. Thumbs up the mountain, bound to recognize, day by day. Thank you, bruv. Yeah, is absolutely. If a person lime is pure, in touch with the earth, and his soul's everything positive. I agree, brother. I agree so much, Lomar Teatro. Like that's what I feel like is a core driving force of myself, is like you may see this like in the style of music I create, and when I talk about like my journey of how this channel came to be. It's like I kind of just like over the years found this very unique organic connection with music, and almost like a philosophy that aligned with something that we could define as like divine or spiritual. It's like I kind of just organically fell into that. Like it wasn't like, this is the funny thing, is like I think I speak of this openly, where for many years, like I've always believed, I've always thought like, wow, metaphysical philosophies and beautiful anomalies, and maybe spiritual context. These are things that I think were interesting, but it's not a thing that I always believed. It wasn't like a part of my felt experience until the last few years. Really, it's like, for many years this was like a concept that I was like, wow, like looking deeper into these like esoteric metaphysical dimensions of things. It was just a thought. It was just a thought stream. It was just a belief that I didn't really like truly viscerally understand. But it's only when these things started to align, and I started to like feel and see these like metaphysical anomalies and quantum shifts occur in my life, that's when I began to like just really fully understand. And it's like, yeah, it comes to that way. Latest generation. But yes, anyways, my thought stream is fragmented. Sleep deprivation. But yeah, basically, yeah, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, Mr. Joe Mojo. The wave, you definitely, I remember from the early streams, dog, you've been like, really just like here, just to just hold space and offer good energy. Like you've really added a beautiful dimension to this place, to this stream. So far, and yeah, for real, bro. I swear, like it is going to, I'm very apt, like I've spoken of once or twice. I feel like the direction I want to take this channel is kind of like every little quintessential thing you could think of a YouTuber, is going to do. Like, live stream, this, that, the other, but like I'm talking like wild, random nomadic adventures, on YouTube land, alongside, of course, my own sort of like original twist on everything. I don't know, I think YouTube is such a cool place, and I just want to do it all in the YouTube. No guessing. See your beauty. Look deep. Look deep. Heck yeah. Yes. Thank you, Sand Beach. You always have such beautiful words to say. That's beautiful. It's funny because I found when this channel is new, when I had like 100 subscribers, and I was like doing live streams, and like, every once in a while there'd be someone that pops on, it's like, I remember this one fellow. I don't think he still chimes in, but his name was, what was it? Dr. Mark? Man, no, Dr. something. He had like Dr. John. It was like a very very like interesting, suburban sort of white person name, but he was a doctor of a metaphysical something. He was basically a metaphysical philosopher kind of fellow that was said he was a doctor. And I remember we had this conversation that basically was about Joe Dispenza. We were talking about Joe Dispenza, dynamics, like energy dynamics, metaphysical philosophy. And this was, again, this is a while back. This was one of the first streams that I released to the public. Like if you go on my live channel, where is it? The power we have in the present moment. Yeah, that's where the conversation was. And this was a very pivotal moment, truthfully. Because this one was one of the first live streams that actually kind of got a good viewership. It's like a few hundred views or whatever. But at that time, that was quite a good boost. But the conversation that I had with this fellow was so pure, where it's like, the homie was just like saying poetic, kind of philosophical stuff. Like he was just commenting things, and I was just like, agreeing. I was like, this is dope. Because personally, for me, the way I use social media, the way I often operate in real life is I'm kind of that guy that likes to just like interject, random philosophical monologues or dialogues. Like I love to just enter those poetic, sort of philosophical, sometimes metaphysical, philosophical thought streams, and to have other people engage in my streams and like pull those threads, but introduce their own sort of poetic and philosophical perspectives. That's just magic, bro. That's like lifeblood to me. So yeah, to see that happen that all those months ago when that one fellow popped in, that was very significant. And I really appreciate and I welcome, the community of people so far that have come together with a similar intention, to feel safe. Like this is a space to share these dimensions of thoughts, whether it's just like kind words or a kind sort of expression that is philosophical in the nature of it. It means a lot because obviously, as much as this is a music channel, I'm a musician, etc. I deeply connect and love like the philosophical context. Hell, I'll go as far as to say is I've spoken this very openly to a lot of people in my life where I feel like often you can directly find the dimensions of fragmentation and strife in a person's life by basically observing the relationship with their philosophical context. Basically, if a person, like a man, for instance, because I'm a man, example of, the men in the modern world, if a man is removed from his philosophical context, like, he doesn't like exploring and philosophizing and sort of like going deep and deep diving in what it means to almost like study philosophy and understand his own philosophy of life. This is often a man that is very uprooted. This is a person, men or woman, that often really is missing some of the most foundational beauties of the world. And this is where I feel like, as human beings, as men and women, when we allow ourselves, we could give ourselves permission to explore and be students of the philosophical context of the world in our life greatly enriches. So I know, like the majority of the few people in the comments, you guys are definitely individuals that get that. But that's a thing that I think is a really important thing, especially for the younger generation. Like young men, I remember I used to go to this one gym. I trained at the community center, right? Where I used to train. I used to run into this younger fellow. I think he was like 10 years younger than me or something, and I trained with him randomly. I'd give him tips about handstands, and yeah, we basically just talk a bunch and like philosophize. And it's interesting because this guy actually, strangely enough, he was Persian, but his father was a philosophy professor. And strangely enough, actually, I took one of the classes. I took one of his father's classes before I knew this kid, but I had to drop out the last minute because I just had to change my classes. But it's strange that I recognized this fellow. His father was a philosophy professor, and basically, yeah. And this guy was like 10 years younger than me. We used to talk all the time. He was actually one of the few people in the community center gym that I would talk to all the time. We would connect unconditionally. And basically what we would do is we would go off in like these deep philosophical discussions, sometimes talking about life, about relationships, dopamine mechanics, all these different things. And long story short, this is where this core conclusion came from, is a lot of young fellows, like this guy right here, on the deepest level, he was seeking to understand to himself what it meant to be a man, what it meant to connect maybe with the opposite sex and understand how to connect with masculine energy, all these things. But it was interesting how this young man, his father was a philosophy professor, it was almost like he was so naturally removed and even like divorced from his natural philosophical context. It's almost like this kid, this 10 years old, he was like a genius for his age of philosophy. Like his mind was so naturally philosophical, but for whatever reason, he didn't understand how valuable and how beautiful that was. And it was only when we were like having these conversations where I was like, man, this dude is like a genius. Like low key, this kid is like absolute genius. But he had no perception of that. He couldn't even acknowledge. It was like he had such a he was so divorced and removed from his own value that it was powerful. Like I thought it was like this kid was very humble, but anyways, long story short, it really just comes down to I think a lot of the younger generation, of course, and our current generation, could literally remedy so much, literally just by returning to being a student of one's philosophical context, like looking at the world through the eyes of one that desires to philosophize. It's exactly that. It's exactly that, brother. Like one that can connect with like the ancient ways of thinking. Like that's almost like an old soul in every given context that just naturally exhumes philosophy and poetry and doesn't even recognize his brilliance. Like that is it's a rare soul. Like I knew this he was also a martial artist like me, but we were like speaking a lot about like martial arts and this and that, but it blew my mind because this dude was like humble to the core. But I could also realize that he was just like so addled. Like some part of him was just so deeply desiring to reach into something deeper. And this is also where this actually all comes full circle. It's because this is I'm a advocate of artistic creative expression, and this guy, this fellow, he was a guitarist, but he was very removed from his guitar practice, and I feel like it was almost like on an unconscious level, he recognized that I had achieved something in my own sort of explorations that he unconsciously wanted to re-engage and reawaken in his own sort of journey, and this was basically just returning to his creative expression. Connects with you say the idea of Kabbalah. So that in every microsecond, the internal external universe is updated. We have the opinion to repair, the option to repair with kindness and fill the world. That's very cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And that is really I feel the way I like to look at it. Like I often, for a number of years ago, I was looking at my life and being like, this is about COVID. Actually, this was when COVID was happening. I came to this really deep realization where I was like, you know what? I think the struggle that a lot of us are experiencing in this pandemic, in this COVID time when it was happening, was literally just our relationship with freedom. And basically, what I realized for myself was this was a request to return to basically understanding how free we are in every single right of what that is. Like so, every single moment, every single choice we make, it was almost like this was a radical request to exercise our freedom. This was what it felt like the pandemic was. And this is what I realized when the pandemic happened early on. I remember like a lot of very powerful shifts happened, but that's a very powerful thing that I think a lot of us forget, myself included, is the bizarre thing is, like if you really think about it, we are all free the second that we give ourselves permission to be free, right? If you just, like, even for instance, you mean, in some context, you have the freedom, you have the free will, so to speak, but you're free to do whatever you want right now. You can exit the stream, put down your phone, go for a run, go for a cold plunge. This is what I often do. But yeah, you have free will to do whatever you want. You have free right to be like, you know what, I'm going to step outside this psychological prison or psychological, loop or patterning. You have free will to really just, you have a lot of freedom in your life. And a lot of exercising this really just requires introducing that conscious awareness, like seeing that every second is an opportunity to just awaken to how much radical freedom that we have and really appreciating that. Internal, external universe. It goes deep, brother. It goes deep. I mean, as I spoke of at the start of the stream, truthfully, I'm in a very unique place. You know, I feel like very, very, very grateful, very blessed in various rights. But the unique place that I'm in right now is, I'm engaging in a new daily practice where, I'm being like, all right, so I'm doing my daily run, my daily sprint, my cold plunge, following this with meditation, following this with qigong, following this with lucid dream study, and then following this with breath work. All those unique practices, in truth, especially qigong, like that's a truthfully, I'm extremely, extremely happy to be doing this daily practice with qigong because it's something that I've actually been wanting to do for a while. But for some reason, just this pivotal moment, being, you know what? What if I just for no reason created this daily practice? These are life changing practices. And I really think it's like, in many rights, it's like this is, yeah, one's relationship formed with the relationship with the internal and the external world is, within these exact kind of practices. Yeah. Low key though, I'm pretty happy that today is not the day that YouTube just decided to be like, hey, let's just like unlock your unlimited viewership. Because like my sleep deprived brain could not riff with the thousands. Not today. It's trying to do what I play with my nude soul. Something and some historian told me that my playing is perfectly right. I like that, brother. Yes, the nude soul. That's that's Osho speaks of that a lot. Osho, the sort of guru, ancient tantric philosopher fellow, or not ancient, but now deceased philosopher. Yeah, he speaks it very openly. Like Osho writes a lot of books about sex. He writes a lot of books about love, freedom, and yeah, a lot of his books speaking about like our relationship with sex and how society has like created this like relationship. Yeah, I remember one quote that really resonated with me. It's like, how can we embrace the nude soul or the naked body, like the naked energy body, the naked soul, if we cannot embrace the naked body? Just the naked physical vessel, this human vessel, which is obviously, yeah, that's a deep parallel because a lot of us, we have created some like very bizarre relationship with the naked body, and even in society, that's a very much like convoluted, almost like borderline fragmenting domain. But it's like, yeah, the naked soul, like it's surely a thing that a lot of people like Terence McKenna and surely philosophers, psychonauts, and etc., like the naked soul. And when you think about that, right, when you're the naked soul, you're entering darkness, when you're in the void, when you are in the other, when you are in like the exosphere, right? This is nothing but you. There's just you, right? You and your thoughts, you and your perception of yourself. That's a lot. Like for a lot of us, if not all of us, the naked soul is like profoundly overwhelming. Maybe not for some, for maybe for some they embrace it. They have love. They can embrace and harness that, but it's a lot. Strong attack. Interesting, interesting. Gurdjieff, Jodorowsky. Huh. Interesting. Oh, flipped off my preamp. My bad. Uh, there we are. Oh, no gain. No, thank you. No gain. There we go. A lot of frets, but it's. Oh, there we are. Ashe. You know, the word ashe, it's interesting how, you know, there's an African fellow that popped on and was kind of asking me if I knew what the word ashe means, and was saying how his priest, you know, would be really ecstatic, you know, with my fascination with the word ashe. And even to this day, like, you know, I speak of this openly. The name of my channel, Ashe, is like a word that just randomly came to me in a psychedelic experience, an altered state of consciousness. Like I was sitting, you know, by the mountains, like staring at the view, doing changa for the second time, sitting in meditation for like 2 hours, and I had this word just randomly flow through me. Like it was just like, I just remember exhaling and being so enamored with the view and just saying to myself, you know, just, Ashe, Ashe. Just out of pure, it was just like a primal thing. Didn't really know what the word meant, but you know what? Obviously, what it means is like has like a sacred sort of affirmative quality. It's like an acknowledgement. It's like I understand, but it has like a power behind the word. It's like a power word, as they explain it or define it. And I think it's very interesting. Like it's almost like I think what I'm simply saying is I'm curious to see the way that one can continue to introduce awareness to this word, but with a very like sacred intention behind it. You know, it's like using the word. I don't think it's about using it more or less frequently, but it's about understanding like the real value, the context, and the sacred context of the word itself. So you know, it's like if you say a word and you're like really deeply intentional with it, you just know you're just giving yourself full presence with this word. I think this is kind of maybe what this African fellow was referring or was inviting me to sort of sit with. You know, it's because we can just say words, as I'm just saying millions of words or lots of words. I just speak for the sake of what is intuitively flowing through, but I think words surely have such a deep context, you know, the way we can just really sit with a word. Ashe. Ashe, my friends. For example. uh, wow, that's so weird. What is this? Where is that fret buzz coming from? Maybe it's the weather, but that's just bizarre as fuck. Very weird. Maybe it's a sign I need to change some of these low or these high strings. Very interesting. Very cool. Even when we make contact, our word I cannot define, hearts vibrate to the same frequency. That's brilliant. That is the truth. I mean, yeah. You know, some streams, when I enter these streams, I'm like, you know, really full of like, just bursting with creative energy. And it's just like interesting the way it's like, you know, a lot of the way it's received. It's like, I feel like there's different perspectives or different states of being that I, you know, bring myself in these streams. Very intentionally so, you know, whether I'm tired, full of energy, feeling celebratory, feeling maybe turmoilic. I've showed up in these streams in every single state of being that I've experienced, at least in these last, you know, 3 months that I've been streaming. And what I notice is they all play very specific roles. You know, it's almost like each state that I'm in, energetically, emotionally, etc., it plays a very powerful role for space holding. You know, it's like if I'm holding space for whoever's here and creating some sort of, you know, place, this container, I'm like facilitating something. It's interesting how the different mentalities I'm in really just invite a different sort of energy. For the better, for the worse, but that being said, of course, being sleep deprived, it's probably not ideal. Beautiful. Customized channel. I'm just checking out the thing, the analytics. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Amazing. Well, extending off of sort of just what I was feeling yesterday, I hope you guys are really finding yourself honor this kind of these last couple days, because I feel like for a lot of us, Valentine's Day, Love Day, like celebrating love, like honoring the experience of love, be it if it's self love, romantic love, community love, wherever it sits, it's like it's a very important thing to celebrate, to cherish, to listen into, to be present with, really. And I feel like, to be perfectly honest, this is probably the most powerful and most celebratory Valentine's Day I've had in probably my entire life. Like, strangely enough, this wasn't premeditated, but the fact of the matter, these last 24 hours have just been a pure wave of celebration of just like feels like blessings and abundance. It's weird. I mean, also, obviously, I also hit 1,000 subscribers, so I'm super happy with that. Like, I feel like that's been like such an overwhelmingly positive thing. But yeah, to just go and spend the night with my partner and go to this amazing taco place and go dance some liquid drum and bass. It's just like yeah, it just feels like overwhelmingly. I feel very full. I'm like wow, like I have this was my favorite love day, and probably in my life. And I feel like it hasn't always been the case where, I've had many of these days, these Valentine's days, where I just kind of sit there and reflect and I'm like, man, this really is a powerful practice of honoring myself, of self love. And often that's the role that it plays. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm like hecka sleep deprived as we speak, but yeah, I'm feeling hyped as ever. Like it was beautiful. I literally had some of the best, the best tacos I've ever had in my life. Yeah, lots of great dancing, lots of bliss. Just really cool, really cool, really cool 24 hours. And I'm still just riding the high of the 1K. Like I'm honestly, every time I open my phone, I just like look at my phone, like 1K subscribers, and I look at like some of my videos that have been doing pretty well, and I'm like, huh, like I'm really doing this shit. I'm in this. I'm the YouTube club, which is tight. It's beautiful. So even if I'm sleep deprived, I'm just kind of reflecting. I'm like, damn, it's pretty wild. It's surreal. It's surreal is definitely the word. I must say, it's amazing. I'm glad you had an amazing Valentine's Day. Thank you, dog. Thank you, dog. I'm just gonna get better from here. It's just gonna get better. Manifesting. Absolutely, absolutely, my friend. Truthfully, thank you. I mean, it's funny. Like I'm a kind of guy that for many years, I look openly. I'm very open to like metaphysical domains, and I feel like I have a lot to be grateful for. But it's interesting when I feel like when your life offers you reflections and offerings and moments where you not only like it's not like you just tell yourself, "Wow, I am grateful for X, Y, Z." It's like your natural embodiment, like it's just radiating gratitude. It's like you look at your life, you're like, "How in the actual fuck have I like created all these variables or these attracted this, that, the other things that just make you feel just pure gratitude?" And like that's kind of what I'm noticing a lot lately. Is like there's a difference, is what I'm simply saying, between like being like I am grateful, verbalizing it, right, or vocalizing it, versus like almost like activating it and operating at a place where you just exude gratitude, where it's like you have no even words to understand why and how the things in your life have translated in that way. And again, it's not maybe it's like low key. I'm not trying to flex here or anything, or just be like, but it's like it's just I think it's really important to understand that is like when we speak of gratitude, right? Gratitude is everything. It is the attracting force in X, Y, Z, and it's beautiful because it is. It 1,000% is. But I think there's a massive difference between like, yeah, like gratitude that we think we can kind of like almost like try to manufacture or sort of like go through the motions of versus like the energy of gratitude, like the actual like embodiment. And yeah, and I think what I'm simply speaking to, like my point of this is well, is not to get caught in the illusions, not to get caught in the illusions of how things might be in your mind. Not get caught in the illusions of trying to like almost manufacture some sort of experience versus the authentic experience itself, right? You know, it's like, and this is a very interesting sort of paradox how a lot of things operate, I feel, in my experience. Because when we're trying to zero in on what we could say is the authentic truth of things, be it's your authentic expression, authentic connection, authentic alignment, authentic community, right? All these things, these in my mind, in my experience, these are very important to be models that you can let go of the picture in your mind, the picture in your head. It's almost like if your mind thinks that, but this is the XYZ model of gratitude because society defines this, or, everyone tells you, but you just gotta say, I am grateful and I'm happy and blah, blah, blah. But it's like the reality is there's an authentic way to connect with these energies. And whatever that looks like for you, I hope for you to let yourself be bold enough and tenacious enough to engage and find those things that just make you radiate those energies. This is what I hope and I desire. It's a weird parallel. Like I talk about this a lot, like, in the early months where I've been reflecting a lot on my life last year and a bit, and there's something very penetrating about basically seeing the way things, and I spoke of this like in the nature of like calling it blessings, right? Like a universal blessing. It's like it's almost important to be present. I noticed I don't have my guitar in my hands. To be present with the way that things desire to show up in your life versus the picture in your head, versus almost like the resistance or the definitions of what you might think things are, be it if this is like maybe like a phase or journey of your life, or maybe it's like friendships or romantic partnerships. It's like, it's good to let go of the models of what you think these things are so you can really be open to embrace the truth of what these things actually are in your life. And again, this is a deeply penetrating model because in my experience, this applies to everything. I remember being a guy on like 4 grams of mushrooms sitting in the forest telling myself exactly this, like being like, wow, isn't it wild that in life a lot of these models of how we think things are, like say love, capital L love, if we can go that direction of like the true energy of what love is. Isn't it beautiful to think that a lot of us have this idea, this model of love in our mind, but the truest, deepest reality, and this is when I was also reading a lot of Osho, and Osho speaks very openly about this, about the model and the energy of what love really is often what a lot, not all what a lot of us think it is. Like a lot of us have this picture, this idea of what love is in some sort of like transactionary, conditional experience. But love, like the deepest essence of what a true, like radiating, illuminating love is surely probably something you likely have not experienced. It's like a foreign entity, a foreign model that you wouldn't even know how to process of it if it was. But that's exciting. That's beautiful. And the weird thing is I feel like that's how a lot of things are. Like if we're talking about a lot of dimensions of like things like trust, like the trust that we define in some sort of context versus like the universal sort of cosmic trust, or like we look at a lot of models in society where we think, oh yeah, I understand these things. Oh yeah, I understand to a T. But then we have to be humble. We got to be like open to be like, no, let's challenge these models. Let's split these models wide open to actually begin to see what these things actually are. And that is exciting. I really think. Yeah. And again, it's almost like what I'm speaking of, I've spoken this many times on this channel, is like I think there's a tremendous benefit in life to just being humble, like literally just taking a truly humble stance in your life, in the things that you think you know, and being open to realizing how little you actually know about these things, and being open to letting yourself, receive by just simply being humble and being like, I recognize how little I know, and just like, isn't this beautiful? It's so silent right now. It's amazing. I'm gonna turn some bird sounds though. River, river and birds. Yes. It's funny. It's funny. I kind of just made that connection. I was like jesting earlier with my partner. I was just kind of telling her, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of funny that people like, I'm like playing guitar. I'm like, yo, what's good? I'm like here to like play guitar. I'm gonna play some guitar. And let's talk about guitar. But then just like, the next thing they know, I'm just like, low key. It was like a ruse. It was just like, the real reason I'm just here to just drop philosophy and just penetrate the models of life. Just boom, just drop some crazy knowledge bombs about like dopamine mechanics and stuff. That's just like, it's like you think you're here to learn about music. I mean, it is. This channel is devoted to musicians, but yeah, I think I have like a deep inkling, like a deep desire to create a deeper offering of, as I've spoken on this channel, I think everything I do creatively, like as a musician, right? It's like I can speak of like, yo, this is how I do this riff, and this is how I do this riff. And obviously, if you guys are musicians and you're competent and confident in your abilities, you can execute these things. But the reality is, there's a lot more that goes behind the scenes that translates into me being able to execute these things. And yeah, understanding like the deeper realms of the mind, of your sort of like almost like your philosophy, and more like your deeper relationship with creative energy and creative realms. This is the key. If you can unlock the domains of your relationship with creative energy, and remove these blockages that allow you to just be a free-flowing conduit, then you will succeed as a creative expressionist. You will see with clarity what you need to see, and you will be on the path. But these are the kind of things that it goes beyond just picking up a guitar and playing a couple chords and notes, which goes very far, let's be real here. But it's like, I feel like part of my intention with this channel is surely to try to like interject some dimensions of presence that connects the dots into something that is beyond just a musician's path. And I'll be honest too, it's just getting more, it's gonna get just more and more unapologetic. Like in a good way, where it's like, the music is just gonna be more direct, it's gonna be more like, nuanced and intricate, and the messages and the truth are just gonna be just like dropped as I just become more confident. And I still feel confident, but I feel like it's a dance. Like I want this to be an organic dance. This is legendary. There's some dude saying practicing classical guitar. JC practices. I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna watch this guy's stream. This is what we're doing. This is a first time ever thing. We're on a stream, watching another fellow stream, play classical guitar. He's got like 7 viewers, 6 people watching, but homie's got 3.31k subscribers. Homie's the real deal. Okay, and he's got a bunch of stuff written on his guitar. Legendary. He seems very deep and focused, but he seems distraught. Like homie's kind of like playing some guitar, classical guitar style. Interesting. What's going on here? I want to buy one, so he's listening to he's listening to the comments. I'm curious. This is actually weird because this guy seems kind of like he's a guitarist. He's a streamer. And I'm curious how other guitar streamers carry their business. Okay, he's coughing now. Okay, but I'm going to take a pause on that. Really connect the song River. Really connects to the mistake, make fire spit, yeah. Make fire music, spit fire. Yeah, thank you so much. Gotta say, thank you so much, brother. Obituary. Profound. I love your energy, man. Just found your account a few days ago, and I feel like it's a sign to get back in touch with my spiritual side. Wow. Wow. That's high praise. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And it's an honor to do that, because I'll be honest, as I am, full circle, these things, yes, like, this is correct. Like, this is correct. The universe is speaking through me. This kind of sounds a bit metaphysical and esoteric, but that's the reality, is like, the universe is speaking you through you to you in many, many intricate messages. And when it's your time, whether it's me, whether it's like, walking through a forest and you see some sort of like sign, it's like it surely is the truth. It's like for me, like, it's a mixture of as I sort of spoke of a moment ago, when you become humbled by the universe, like the universe blesses you. You see like clear signs, be it, maybe it's in the emanation of of friends, of romantic partners, of lovers, of creative breakthroughs, of directions on your path. When you humble yourself and see like the way that the universe wants to bless you, and almost like it opens up your a perspective in a very unique way. Basically, long story short, what I've noticed is when you begin to romanticize the divine, like that's a very uh, interest or unique uh, statement. When you romanticize the divine, like when you look at it and be like, whoa, like this person makes being spiritual per se actually seem beautiful, organic, appealing. It's like it's almost like it makes them feel lighter, or the way they embody it, or XYZ. And I see this in many things. I feel this when I sit with with medicine, like mushrooms, and I sit in the forest and I just kind of look deeply into my life in a different way. It's like, or I see this in the reflection of the partners, like a romantic partner in my life, at the time, and I see like this amount of beauty, or I'm like, wow, like there is something so beautiful about just the divinity of like, and not just like some sort of societal, what's the word, societal definition or sort of like embodiment of spirituality. No, but what your unique spiritual path looks like. What your unique reconnection to the primal is. What this looks like, because that's the thing, is that's what I'm gonna be very forthcoming about. Is there's no right or wrong way to engage in a spiritual path. Like, what your spiritual path or my spiritual path or XYZ of people is going to look like, it's going to be profoundly different. And the beauty is, this is where I sort of emulated the importance of understanding how to embrace like the authentic human experience. Whether we're talking about embracing this in a romantic partner, whether we're talking about embracing this within your models and perception of love, of, philosophy of whatever, it's almost like no one should try to define what authentic connection to these things are. And it's almost like in the simplest right. I'll be perfectly honest here. A lot of these things are very weird paradoxes. If someone's trying to tell you, oh no, but this is the right way of how being spiritual looks like to them, they're probably further from the spiritual path than they could ever imagine. The authentic spiritual experience is something that is very like human, because really the spiritual experience is integrating the human experience. Like for a guy like myself, I dress kind of like a punk rocker, and I like to dance and talk and engage in domains of someone that you might not quintessentially see as, this guy is XYZ spiritual whatever. But that's the point, is like I think the models of how people perceive spirituality is surely, well, one, it's not one dimensional, and secondarily, the authentic human experience, like the authentic spiritual path and integration of your spiritual energy, it should be something that is not trying to be a cookie cutter sort of one dimensional thing. So, anyways, that was a little tangent and a half, but but I think it's important because authenticity, like that's the key thing that I really want to emulate here, is strive for authenticity wherever it is, however it looks. It can look like whatever you desire it to. Greetings, gang. Yo, welcome, brother. Welcome, Xavier. Yo, but I don't know about you guys. I don't know if this is something that strikes intrigue. I don't know if this is maybe something that kind of borderline is like maybe stream sniping or whatever. I don't think I'm stream sniping, but like, what happens if I'm here, right? I'm here and I'm going like, what would happen if I just? Okay, he's going with his cat. Great, sick. But what if like I go on a stream? I've never done this, to be honest. I don't know. The only reason I went on this guy's stream before is because he had a guitar. He was a classical guitar player. He was playing classical guitar. And I was just curious. I was like, okay, what's going on with the homie? Like, fellow guitarist. I'm just like wanting to just like inquire, like, wow, like let's comment on another guitarist, from one guitarist to another, one YouTuber guitar guy. And I don't know, I'm curious. This feels like a sharing a stream. Okay, he's sharing a link. I'm just curious. Like, I'm a new streamer, and I'm curious how other streams go. Are they interesting? talking on scales. Yeah, I don't know. This is maybe not the move per se, but that's the thing. I just kind of recognize, like, man, we got infinite parallels. I got free will on this bitch without getting copyrighted. Hopefully, it's not get copyrighted to any degree. But it's like I can hop on YouTube and comment on other YouTubers, and if I desire to. But I mean, I like monologuing. So we come in some interesting symbols down to this world, not to learn, but to remember. Yes, yes, brother. Absolutely. And awaken what we already have within us. Yes. The connective divine spark, the evidence proves that we are 97% stardust. Very well said. I agree so much. I agree so very much. Let's straighten that out. Because, I really feel this. It's like, fellows like Matthias de Stefano. Whoa. Fellows like Matthias de Stefano. He's the fellow that is basically a metaphysical teacher. And he speaks of how he remembers his past life in Atlantis. And he's basically drawing direct connections to how we can learn, from the ancient Atlanteans. He speaks of his past memories, about all the different dimensions, 1D all the way to 9D. But yeah, long story short, he speaks openly, he speaks very humbly, very honestly, how we in this world are here to remember. All of us, if not all, the majority of us, we forget. We are a product of forgetting. We have forgotten so much, in our past lives, inevitably, but also in this world. It's like we are sort of in this state of just continuously just forgetting everything. And the only difference between someone like, Matthias, or maybe someone like, say, the Buddha, for example, very bold example, but is these people have remembered something. They've allowed themselves to return to remembering. That goes very deep, surely. It's like remembering who they are, maybe in a past life, remembering maybe the deeper lessons and philosophies and the archetypes of the ancient ways. Like just remembering, like that's the kind of core emphasis. It's like how deep of a rabbit hole. I remember when I was on shrooms once, I actually, for some reason, I just sat there in the forest and meditated for like 40 minutes, an hour, and I would just say at random intervals, remember, remember, remember. I don't know why, it was like a mantra that I was just, for some reason, awakening. I was like, just remember, remember. And it felt really significant in that moment for some reason. And I actually wrote a song about that. It kind of streamed from that. And strangely enough, that was actually, that was kind of just a prompt that I took away from the movie Mr. Nobody. There's like Jared Leto's character, he's chilling in a chair, and he's doing this like future psychology or psychoanalysis, and then this therapist fellow from the future just says, remember, and he goes back into his like weird, like quantum reality where there's like multiple lives. But yeah, I think that's something powerfully significant that truly I think is a significant part of this reality, is just returning to remember what we have forgotten. Like, if we can really introduce this heightened awareness to be like, what have we forgotten? And actually, I wrote a song. It was like the 5th or 6th song I ever wrote, like several years ago, where the entirety of that song was literally just like, I had a riff in the song where it was just like, what have we forgotten? And it goes like, just belts out like, what have we forgotten? It's like a punk rock song, but then it goes deeper and it changes in energy. But it's like, yeah, it's like, damn, it's powerful. It's like in this world, we are by default, we have forgotten so much. And the key in so many rites and so many like deeper elements is just to return to the remembering. If you remember something's the ancient, when you're not meditating, why a lot of people think that you are crazy, then crazy people don't exist or doesn't exist. They just have some others to say. Just, yeah, I think this, absolutely, brother. This is a shared thought by, I think, many, many wise shamans and psychologists kind of have expressed that, where people that we define as crazy by society, people that are bipolar, schizophrenic, etc., they're not that abnormal. They really are just normal human beings, but they have a increased susceptibility to receive messages, messengers, downloads, information that surely is very unstable. Why? Because we live in a modern society where their ability to see through a clear channel is profoundly unstable. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of that. But that's what I love returning to within that. Let's try this. Man, I can't wait to get back on film sets. Ooh, it's a potent attack. I think it's high time to hook up the synth keyboard that I was creating strings with. Because this is a fun, beautiful dynamic here. It is dreams that Divinity speaks to us in codes, the correct direction of the Olam, of the Tikkun Olam, repair of the world. Awaken to our intermission. Interesting. Interesting. How do I connect with like normal chat? Wait, what? Care to elaborate? Let's see, let's hook up this synthesizer. There we are. A little bit off key, but yeah, that's... Yes, sir. Vaguely, vaguely, my friends. Last time we talked about the guitar and dance with your hands incorporate into this. Fuck yeah. I do vaguely remember that. I mean, I think it's been at least a week since then or so, but yeah. That's one of my favorite connections to make, yeah. Or maybe it was less than a week. It would have been less than a week ago when that, yeah. Yeah, but, yeah, 1,000, bruv. 1,000. We're on the path. Let's see the way we can sort of, so I was in this place where I was connecting rhythmic elements, and of course the pan flute. So I'm in a particular key, I think it's like the... Right. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I mean, thank you, brother, for chiming in and re-engaging. Yeah, but I say to this, yeah, that's a connection that I think of very actively. I speak of this very openly about like how I was speaking about Ikigai, at some point on my stream the other day, but it's just the direct connection between how one can learn to weave together all your creative pathways. And for me, tutting, dancing is like the most powerful portal, like truly on a deep, deep level, like a somatic level. So in the nervous system, This is truly one of the most effective ways, alongside as a guitarist, having like a heightened awareness of range of motion, of muscle memory, of rhythm via your hands is very valuable. And for me, I just do it for fun, have for many, many years. And I feel like, yeah, very actively as a guitarist, as a musician, my ability to play guitar is deeply woven, if not genuinely synchronized with my ability to dance. And like I actually speak of this very openly. Is the bizarre thing is I learned to improvise, like truly improvise fluently in dance way before I learned how to do it on the guitar. Basically I was learning to improvise. But what I'm simply saying is my style of improvisation on the guitar, the exact style that I do, the way that I navigate the fretboard is actually a echo of the way that I dance. It's basically like as it is, I learned how to improvise on the guitar from observing the way that I dance. It's a very interesting, very unique way to do it, but works very well for me. So basically, I think low-key what I'm saying is if you're a guitarist and you have an interest in learning dance, particularly like say tutting, like I do, like tutting, finger tutting, these are very potent parallels that complement each other extremely well. So yeah, it's almost like that may be the key to unlocking the next dimension of your musicianship as a guitarist or wherever, is just unlocking your ability to move and dance. And it really has been that way. It's exactly how it's been for me. And honestly, it goes further, where surely the ability to connect via dance offers you a profoundly unique ability to connect with a very powerful dimension of the community, of the dance community, of your local community, alongside, of course, how to connect with feminine energy, that is the opposite sex, and of course, just, really regulate it in a healthy way. It's powerful. It's life-changing, actually. Exactly said when you take a note in the guitar, you have the look as if it was with dancing. Yeah, it's exactly. It's like the deep influence. Yeah. Has to look at it as if it was exactly, brother. Yeah, it is that way. It's like really like as it is. Yeah, I love that part. It's like because when I'm dancing, right, I think I expressed this in the conversation we're having is dance basically has more infinite parallels, right, than guitar. Like guitar is a limited thing. You have 6 strings, you got all those frets, right? The idea is dance is more infinite. I can do infinite interactions. Any little blip, any little like change of my cadence or little, micro transitions, there is genuinely infinite in the dance world. So it makes perfect sense why, if you're a person that's like, okay, I'm going to learn to tut as I'm doing, it's tutting into liquid, into, I don't know, animation and popping and locking and whatever, right? That will inherently teach you a lot about your unique style of dancing. And then you can apply this directly to guitar, as I did. It's like you learn to be like, oh, word, like, and I like to talk about this a lot. And I think I appreciate your interest in that exact domain because that's something I would love to talk about via content in the future because it's literally exactly that. It's like whether we're playing guitar, right? Let's turn on the little preamp. Is like yeah, but it's like literally just the same thing. It's the same thing. Like I'm going here, I'm thinking transition to here. What can I do? I can transition to here, transition to here. I can transition here. I've transitioned here, transitioned here, non-stop. Just transition, transition, and it's the same mentality that. Any given moment. This is actually the exercise that I would often tell people when I'm teaching them tutting is like, any given moment, you can stop. Like, if I'm here, and I actually have videos of where I do this, where it's like, I can go from 5 to 7, right? Second string, 5 to 7, pretty standard, pretty quintessential. In the same context, like if I'm dancing, I can be like, well, I can go to here, right? 1, 2, bam, that's a transition, 1, 2. It's like, that makes sense, right? That's pretty standard. Your mind maybe saw that coming, right? I saw it coming. And I can go like, tap on the 12th, tap on the 10th, do some hammer on pull-off stuff. And it's like here, you could be like 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, right? Okay, that makes sense, right? But it's like, what if in the same reality, you could be like, well, let's go 5, strike the open E, slap the 7th harmonic, artificial harmonic, slap the 19th, pull off first string, 5, 3, 2, go up to, the 7th on the 5th string. Like, that was just unorthodox as shit. Who knows? That just came out of nowhere. And it's the same way with dance, where this is how I learned it. It's like, we can go like this, or you can be like, well, what happens if I just go up here? What happens if I go down here? What happens if I just do this, go here, go over here? Like, suddenly it's like, it's not even remotely registerable. There was no even monocle of what your mind would be like, oh yeah, it's just 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like your mind makes it like, basically, as I like to explain it, you're splitting open like the multi-dimensional grid. It's like, if you're on a one-dimensional grid, you're like, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or just like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make it go like 1, 10, 6, 24, 18. Like, you're just jumping around the grid and you're splitting open the grid, making the grid completely different from what it originally was. And that is what improvisation is, in essence. Like, that is successful improvisation. You're splitting open the grid and it's gone. And again, in the world of dance, the grid is an actual thing. Like, this is the grid. Every given little place that you can land, any given dimension, anywhere, and any given point, that is the grid. And it's the same on the guitar, but obviously it's a little more limited. It's the same mentality, very same mentality. Yeah. Simplifies the equation, liberty, free mentality. Yeah. Piano, like duality, like chess. Yeah. Yeah, just as 10 frets or sephroid together with the 22 Hebrew letters. Yeah. Words are absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Like vocalizing words, wordplay, exactly the same. Like if we're talking about improvising words, I'm saying words. I can say anything. That's obviously clear, but it's like, the dichotomy, the polarity of how I can speak, how I can summon a dialogue or a monologue, that is, be it if we're talking about even acting, which goes even further, completely, like, it is a multi-dimensional endeavor. Anything at any given moment can happen once you exercise this ability to make it so. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's see. So exactly, blah, 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 blah. When you take a note, say yes, 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 yes. Beautiful. Simplifies the equation. Liberty-free mentality. But my question, I guess, is how can I further develop this mentality as as foreign to me, and do it and actually make it sound that. See, this is the thing, Julian. Yeah, is that's kind of like on my channel. I have some shorts where I literally just go like, hey, like follow this riff. Like I'll be like, and I'm like, all right. So what I did here is very simply, I struck the open E. I fretted, struck with my ring finger here on the 2nd string on the 5th fret, slide to the 7th, hammer on the 8th, tapped on the 12th with this pointer finger, lifted this, let the pull off ring out to let the 8 ring out, lifted that, let the 7 ring out, slap back to the 5th. This is what I'm trying to do, is I'm teaching someone improvisation. And the way I'm doing that is I'm breaking down riffs and be like, here is a riff. This is an example of one reference point that you can integrate in your own improvisation. That's what I'm, in essence, doing. And you're right. It's like, if you're a person, like you're a guitarist, right? I'm assuming so. And you have like a very locked in style of playing where you're just like, all you play is maybe say G, D, A minor. Not a bad progression. It's beautiful. But if your brain basically thinks in a one-dimensional grid, where you're like, like, okay, I'm in a C chord, and I have to go to a D chord, and right to an A chord, and to an A minor chord. Nothing wrong with that. But if your mind has like a one-dimensional grid, like locked in, you have to begin to just introduce bit by bit flavor. Like you have to get to a point where, if you're like, okay, well, we could do a G to a D to an A minor. But what if your G is like this? I don't know, but yeah, that kind of worked. But it's like basically like you have to give yourself permission at every given transition point. And basically what I suggest is like, so say you play a chord, right, brother? It's like you're like, all right, I'm gonna play a chord or maybe a note, right? You're just like 3 5 on the first string, right? 3 to 5. Maybe you're finger picking like I like to do. And the idea is that where does your mind want to go from there? From there. Like if you think, you know, because you're probably, if you're new, most people would think, okay, well, we can go 3 5 7. That's not a bad choice, right? Or maybe you're on a vertical realm, so you think 3 5, let's go to 3 on the second string. That's where your mind would go. But the key is wherever you're naturally going. So if you're just playing guitar and you hear like a, you have to pause, like think about it. You'd be like, if you could pause at any given moment, freeze exactly what you're doing, and find a novel way to engage with it. And basically what I'm saying is, you know, I'm playing guitar for 16 years and playing acoustic guitar for about 10 years. And this style I've been developing for 10 years. And I'll be honest, the way I've done it, similar to the way that I've developed dance, is I've taken all of these little micro movements, bit by bit, and learnt them all, not from necessarily unique songs, just from like maybe picking up from things I hear. I'm like, wow, that's a good riff. And I make it my own. And like, it's kind of like, it is that, I'd say, what's the word? Tedious. Like, it's a tedious process. But, let's see. That being hits unconsciously makes the pattern make sense. Yeah, it's like, I think it's in the simplest right. Because, yes, it does require, like, what I'm speaking of. We're talking about improvisation and all the things I'm talking. It does require that you have, like, I'm assuming in every context, and I'm assuming you are, many rights, but it's like that you are a guitarist or a dancer in the context of dancer that already has some level of repertoire. Like, you know, you understand a chord or have a few chords, or, you know, you pick up the guitar every once in a while. And the idea is that what I'm speaking to only makes sense if you are trying to break open these like I guess we can call them reference points, or again, as I see them, it's like it's making a multi-dimensional shift from the one-dimensional grid that you already have. And yeah, it's like if you're speaking of, it's like if you're unconsciously, your unconscious choice is to be like, let's just go to this because there's no other path. It's making it conscious by stopping and really understanding the infinite possibilities that are in front of you. And again, it comes for full circles. This is what I'm doing on the stream. This is what I'm doing on my shorts. Majority of the times, I'm literally just showing possibilities. I'm like, this is a possibility. Like, it's a possibility. It's not like, it's a pretty unorthodox possibility, but it's like, anything that I teach or anything that I show, these are possible things that anyone can do, you know, melodically, right? Of course, the harmonics and stuff is like a thing, it takes time, but yeah. The doors of perfection of the mind. Lights on. Hell yeah, brother. Out of raw curiosity, if you're still here, Julian, I'm curious what... Hey, no, get off your shorts. I don't care about your weird Christianity shorts. What the devil? Yeah, but if you're still here, Julian, I'm curious, brother. What do you think your relationship is with delayed gratification? And this may or may not just be like relevant or not, but you know, I made a video. You know, not trying to promote my videos, but it's like my video is just about delayed gratification, instant gratification. You know, it's the little thing that I'm saying on my long formats. Yeah, this is why I'm practicing guitar, blah blah blah. And it's like the idea is, I'm curious. Like if this is obviously you're connecting the dots between learning improvisation. You know, you're already a guitarist, I'm assuming, and you have like, I'm sure, a pretty good level of like focus and application. But I'm curious because the reason I made that video, the truest reason of why I made that video about why I'm not practicing guitar and etc., talk about delayed gratification, is because, yes, this video is 1000% correct. Is the reason why I myself, and any guitarist really, is able to succeed in playing guitar is because they've eventually, over the years, developed the process of basically creating dopamine hits from delayed gratification. And what I mean by that is almost like, if you're making progress, like you're playing the guitar, you pick up the guitar and, things maybe don't click or don't, sound masterful right away. The key sort of, the cardinal, what's the word, mechanism of instant gratification, if you're like, your mind is operating instant gratification, often your mind will be discouraged. It'll be like, wow, this doesn't sound great, or why isn't this perfect, or why isn't this XYZ? And your mind will often just be like, wow, I'm gonna probably give up, or I'm kind of not motivated enough to go really deep down the rabbit hole. The delayed gratification mindset basically will see this, like it'll be like, very curious, like how could I one day, like how can I design a strategy of playing guitar every day for like maybe a year and actually get to a point where you're, say, developing masterful composition. Now, it's obviously not that black and white, but it's basically the delayed gratification mindset sees the long-term vision and can actually like grasp it. It can conceptualize it. And even further, it gets motivated. It gets dopamine hits from just the idea that one day you could achieve this long-term goal, even if it's not going to happen for like a long ass time. Hell yeah. Brains. Dopamine. Very cool, very cool. Anyways, very cool. Now this was like, I actually looked up your one video with the harmonics. Beautiful. It's a good example. I need to look more of them. Just right now it's 5 a.m. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious, brother. I mean, it might have been, if you're talking about like the second one, I have a recent video that actually a viewer, he directly asked, he was just like, yo, I'm struggling with pinch harmonics. Can you talk about them? And I basically talked about it and explained exactly what I explained on my recent short. And yeah, it actually, for me even, I like thought about it. I was like, wow, actually there is these little details about executing pinch harmonics that I never really thought about a lot, and I explained that in the short. But I'm curious, yeah, like, take you from the music. Now it's all good, brother. I'm probably going to take a leave. I'm gonna exit the stream in a bit. I've kind of just been popping on to experiment, kind of gauging the waters. Since I hit 1,000, I was curious. I was curious, am I gonna get the larger viewership, or how's the wind gonna work? I was just like testing the waters at this point, but it's all good, brother. Yeah, no stress. I'm just kind of riffing. I'm just riffing here. And again, like I was out till like 3 a.m., with my partner, and like, yeah, it was, Valentine's Day stuff. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just like noticeably sleep deprived, but my head's full of dopamine, so we move with a stride, or with stride, whatever. But yeah, I'm curious, brother, like to direct to what you were inferring about, right? Is what did you notice? I'm curious, like from the pinch harmonic video. If it's the one I was referring to, then I imagine it's pretty comprehensive. But I'm curious, are there any pieces of these pinch harmonic videos, like the shorts, that you found necessarily helpful, or were there parts of it where you're still struggling to understand, like certain elements where maybe I could, I don't know, break down these things even further, or be like, if there's like even a more entry level way to approach learning these things? Because I know, yeah, for myself, it took me a long ass time to actually like understand how to do these harmonics. Like it really, I mean, no one was really teaching me, so I was just figuring it out by myself. But the reality is, like, I feel like, yeah, I'm curious, like, if there's any parts of these videos that did resonate, or you'd find like it really answered the questions you had, or if there's definitely more. Which obviously I think there's always gonna be more, but yeah, I'm just kind of looking at my own videos of like lots of legatos, songs,
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting to see though, just the way my viewership has boosted for these little breakdowns, these lessons. Ah, the pan flute. Beautiful. First, honestly, I didn't even have the skill to make them until I saw the way that you executed them. Mmm. Satisfied. My work is incorporate them. That's dope. That's amazing. That's yeah, because I think a lot of people. This is where I was at, right? When I was really new to guitar, I was only like a few years into playing acoustic fingerstyle, and I always associate harmonics with like when you play say the electric, it's like you do a squealy where you take a pick, and you're just like finding a harmonic and striking. Like that's how a lot of people for some reason associate harmonics. They're like, and then maybe playing electric guitar and they're just like doing some crazy stuff. And there's also harmonics that you could think are like, okay, like this is a natural harmonic, and all you're doing is you're like fretting it or you're plucking it. But the idea is, it wasn't until I discovered Andy McKee and I covered his song Ryolin where I learned how, oh yeah, harmonics also are this. Like it's a pinch harmonic. And of course, there's artificial pinch harmonics, which just take it to the next level. But yeah, basically, it's harmonics are easier than people could think. But so that satisfy them, then we'll incorporate them. That's definitely to the lower half of the homie's question or the comment is like, yeah, incorporating harmonics surely is a whole nother thing. Like that's, I'll be honest, that's the key thing that took me years and years to get to a point. It's like now I can write like compositions and really play around with harmonics, but it definitely took me like many years to once I got harmonics to incorporate them like in improv and playing them. But once you do, sky's the limit. Like harmonics are generally like it's like the missing piece of the puzzle in a lot of compositional ideas. Watching your shorts, it got me to actually making harmonics. From doing a quick tap, doing my 2-fret index thumb finger trick. Dude, that's legendary. I love that. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I love to hear that feedback. It's like those shorts I kind of just make like I used to start to, I made these videos where I'm teaching, doing little lesson plans, to get some subscribers to kind of engage in my viewers. But I kind of was under the impression for a while that I was like, oh, there's like people just want algorithmic appeal. Like they want stuff that has keywords, that's about like famous songs and breakdowns. And then I got to a place where I was like, when I got a larger viewership, then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna return back to just doing candid breakdowns of stuff that I find really interesting. And yeah, to my delight, those been blowing up. Like those are the ones that actually get like a good amount of views. It's just me talking about guitar techniques that I really love, like tapping and harmonics and all these little like tricks and things that I could literally talk about all day long. So it's great. It's like sick. I can just get into it because I got lots to talk about on the guitar. It's like it's easy. Into my style. Last time, if you recall, I said I wanted to try and learn from your style of guitar and mix it in with what I usually play. Interesting. That broke my head, and I said, this go right here, make me understand. That's sick. High praise. That's dope, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I think simply for me, like it's kind of bizarre, but a lot of the way I've taught in myself, or a lot of the way I've learned all these guitar tricks, like the shit that's like quite elaborate, right? I've taught myself all of it. Like that's the bizarre thing is like I covered Ann McKee stuff. I've covered John Gomm stuff and various like Grayson Earhart stuff and stuff that has little simple elements of a lot of these techniques, but a lot of like the more developed elements of harmonics, of tapping, these songs did not teach me those things. Like it would like I'd learn little like or just like maybe one or two little harmonics in these songs, but it got to a point where, for myself, when I understood how to apply it on the entire fretboard and how to integrate it in my compositional ideas, that's when I was like, oh, I understand these things. And yeah, I just want to share the good news. We disconnected for a sec. Yeah, but harmonics, like, I speak of this very openly. Pinch harmonics are literally the reason that I got into acoustic fingerstyle. It's like, and it took me like 8 years to actually like master these harmonics. But that was the core reason that I was attracted to the style of playing. It's like, I was like, this is magic. Like, it's so ethereal. It's profound. It's endless. It's limitless in the way you can apply it. It's just like harmonics are truly magic. But yeah. Appreciate the feedback, brother. Beautiful. Magic. 6 o'clock. Word. 6 o'clock. Phenomenal. All right, I think, yeah, my sleep deprived self is going to take a break. Yeah, this has been beautiful though. This has been really phenomenal chiming in and just, yeah, reflecting. This feels really good. Yeah. Thank you, friend. We'll be back in the next episode, fully not sleep deprived. Yes. Hell yeah, brother. Deeply appreciate you guys. Much love. Bless. Ashe.